Episode 33. Posture and body language is everything.
Parenting in the 21st century is ever evolving. And while you balance work, kids, and your sanity, it's easy to feel discouraged. Welcome to the Super Parent Syndrome with your host, Dr. Nick Fanning.
Hey there, beautiful, brave parents. My name is Dr. Nick Fanning. I am here with another episode of the Super Parent Podcast. If you have children, you have stress. And man, I gotta tell you, you are not alone. Every day, there is at least one or two children crying in my place. Just from anything from telling them to go to bed or take a nap or eat your vegetables, whatever it might be. And folks, I can tell you the craziness of trying to run a business or work or just be a spouse and be a parent is crazy. It is chaotic. And that is why I hope you take comfort in the fact that you are not the only one dealing with these stressors. So today's topic is something that I'm deeply passionate about and actually consider an expert in is posture. And we're really more so, it's going to be more about body language and how you can effectively use it to help with your clients and also with your children, but just in general health and honestly, just a lot of things. So let's first talk about posture overall and just talk about biofeedback. Now, when I was in undergraduate, I was a biochemistry and psychology major. So I was basically a double major. I had minors in math and chemistry as well. But the biggest thing is I was very, very interested in seeing how the mind would actually influence physical changes in the body. And one of the biggest things that you know, and you've probably heard about, is something called biofeedback. Now, an example of biofeedback can be such as like this. Imagine that you're in a bad mood, or you're just kind of having a rough day. It is simply say that if you force yourself to smile for 5 whole minutes, your brain will trick itself into thinking it's in a good mood. And you will therefore then kind of change the outlook of your day because you're feeling like you're in a much better mood. That is because that our body has been placed in a position to smile. Therefore, our brain thinks like, well, if these muscles are activated in a certain manner, we must be happy. And therefore, chemical changes take place, dopamine is released, serotonin is released, and life suddenly starts getting better. So sometimes I actually hate knowing that truth because I want to pout. I want to be angry or just a little upset. And then I remember to do those things, and then I'm not. But sometimes it's not always so easy. That is an example of what I'm talking about, people. And one of the biggest things that you can do is that even posture-wise is a great way to use your body language to express things better, okay? It can dispel either a kind of a feeling of confidence to others, or it can have the opposite effect of that, stay away from me or things like that. Body language is 60% of communication to other people. So when you talk about your posture in everyday life, it's a big deal. Whether or not you're kind of slumped on the couch, or if you're out moving around, or if you're at your desk in a very attentive way, or if you're the way you're walking around the office, those things take a big part in the way people will perceive and treat you. It's like this. There was a tribe out in the Amazon, and researchers were studying them and how they walk through the jungle and not be attacked by wild animals. And it was very curious and very strange because if they went to a neighboring tribe and perhaps had a wedding or some sort of party where they were taking in alcohol or other type of plants and therefore then walked home, then animals would actually attack them. Because even if they were in a tribe, their body language was different. As you can imagine, as they were striding confidently with maybe even some arrogance, some aggression, but just this very confident type of posture towards this party, the animals were like, heck no, I'm leaving these people alone. But all of a sudden they change that. They change their physiology. They change the way they walk. And all of a sudden they're prone to attack. If you don't think that people are subconsciously judging you or thinking like that, you're completely wrong. So I even take place with that when I'm talking with clients. There's things such as mirroring and things like that where I consciously choose my posture and the way that I look in order to make sure that I get their attention, that I keep them in attention, and we decide how we're going to work together too. But then also think about how my posture needs to be in various forms when dealing with my children. Sometimes dealing with a boo-boo, it's a different posture versus trying to get them to do a certain thing. The big rule of thumb basically is this, is that people are going to anchor to what you're doing and how you're holding stuff. And so if you're kind of in that docile type posture, people are going to treat you that way. If you're in a very authoritative, happy, confident type posture, head up, shoulders back, people are going to treat you that way. And in fact, it's one of the most interesting things that I see when I work with people's posture is that somebody that's sad and depressed or anxious on the majority of their time in their life, they have a very closed down posture, which means head down, forward, shoulders rolled forward. And so therefore you kind of wonder, hey, they're adopting this type of posture. I wonder if the brain is just being fooled into thinking, yes, you're doing this. And if you think about today's electronics and posture in general, especially with texting, using it in tablets or computers and things like that, that's in a very downward, forward, shoulder, kind of forward type motion. And therefore, I wonder if we're kind of, biofeedback wise, shutting people down. Okay, and then I got to tell you, as I'm working with somebody and we bring them out, their shoulders back, head up, head back where it should be, people are doing way, way better for themselves. And posture affects a lot of physiological functions. In fact, there was a great study in the Journal of Physiotherapy where it talked about posture affects and moderates every physiological function, even from breathing, thought process, heart rate, things like that. And so as you're sitting there, I want to just kind of pretend for a moment, everybody whatever you're doing, you're sitting in your car, you're doing whatever, I want you to have perfect posture for a moment. Sit up straight, head back, really hold that for a moment. Now take a deep breath. Okay, now only stick your head forward. Don't crunch down your torso, anything else. Only stick your head forward. Take another deep breath. Which was easier? 99.9% of you, the better posture will win and help you breathe more fully, more deeply. And think about those consequences when we deal with posture as far as that athletics go. Maybe it's concentration, since your brain is using a lot of oxygen to do those things. If you're having problems with that kind of energy in the levels, just fixing your posture and doing a better job with that is a key factor in some of those. And so, I make no embarrassing claims to that I am a chiropractor, and I got to tell you that majority of chiropractors are trained in this, and so you need to seek one out to basically optimize your own health levels. No shame there as far as I plug that, but the big thing is making sure that you yourself are being cognizant of your body language and your body posture as you do that. And you can use that in everyday language and just be amazed at the way people will change and how they treat you. Most of the times people aren't even aware of what their body language is or even how they're responding to whatever your body language is. It could be as simple as just think about a boy asking a girl out and thinking about the body language of being sheepishly or confidently. I mean, there's a lot of implications for this, folks. And even as a parent, I want you to think about some of the ways you're doing that. If you're that parent that's kind of lounging in a lawn chair in the front yard and you're kind of yelling at your kid to shut up or do whatever, and you're just kind of lazily being there, it's no wonder your kids aren't even listening to you. However, if you're in the trenches, if you're standing up, being engaged with them, and you're assuming that dominant role of doing that, again, you're going to have much different reactions and results as far as that goes. So use it to your advantage. So people, that's your homework for today, is take a look at your roles, take a look at how you're using your body posture and language to do that, and see if you need help. If you can't even lay flat on a floor because your head doesn't even touch because you're so rounded forward and your head's so far forward, then you're going to need some help. If you're able to and you have great posture and you can see in the mirror that you have good posture, hey, you need to start practicing that because, again, our electronic devices are pushing us forward. So that's Dr. Nick Fanning. That's my big tip for you folks. I hope you use it well. Enjoy the results that you will have in using better posture and better body language with that. Again, this is Dr. Nick Fanning with the Super Parent Syndrome, signing off.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Super Parent Syndrome. Please be sure to visit peptalksforparents.com for more content and our free newsletter. And remember, you are not alone.